Hi, welcome back, you guys. Another week. We have guests this time. Please welcome Ben and Cody. They're from our office. We want to talk about hunting because it's a huge part of kind of North Idaho outdoor life, recreation, but I don't know if this is going to be a shocker to you, but neither Lindsay nor myself are big hunters. So we really wanted you guys to get kind of the best, most accurate information from people who participate, right? So we're gonna kind of do like a little question and answer session with our friends here, and we hope that you get all of the information you need. If you're an avid hunter, we hope that this is like excellent for North Idaho. But before we get into it, as always, please remember to like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, engage in the comment section, and then call, text, email us if you have any questions. Or you just are enjoying our content. We like to interact with you guys. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. All right, guys, welcome back. We're gonna get right into it with Ben and Cody on hunting seasons in North Idaho. So, first, easy, where did you guys grow up?
I grew up in Bonners Ferry, Idaho, which is about 25 minutes from the Canadian border, so very top end of the Panhandle.
And I grew up in Missoula, Montana, so
Perfect.
about 2.5 hours east of here.
Cool. So yeah, we're gonna kind of get like a little bit a different perspective from each of our friends. Cool. How long have you been hunting?
I've been hunting since I can remember. I have pictures of being at hunting camp since like 2.
Oh wow.
But actually physically hunting probably since about 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think I was 12 when I got my first hunting license.
Okay.
Went through hunter safety at that age.
Yeah. Perfect. What animals are legal to hunt in Idaho and Montana?
Legal or illegal?
Yes, legal. We got the green light.
So Idaho, I mean, at least in this area, I'm talking more about northern Idaho. We got black bear, deer, elk, moose. You can draw a tag for a moose. Different types of birds. What am I missing?
You got wolves, mountain lion. You can do sheep, bighorn sheep.
Oh.
You can do mountain goats as well, but not as common.
Okay. So when you say pull a tag for a moose, you can't just like go out and like shoot them. Like no one can just go out and shoot a moose. You have to like pay. Like there's only a certain amount, right?
Yeah. So you put
like
your name
almost
in to get drawn.
Okay.
And I think it used to be. I'm not sure if it is anymore, but you get one.
Okay.
In a lifetime in Idaho, at least that's what it used to be. I think it is still that way.
In a lifetime, not just a season.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can, you draw, you put your name into a pool. If your name gets drawn, you have the opportunity to go for a moose that year. And if you accomplish the goal, then I think you're pretty much done in Idaho for that point.
Okay. And have you ever pulled a moose tag?
No.
Have you
my
ever
dad
entered?
has.
Oh, okay.
I have not
Cool.
personally. Have you?
No moose for you?
I have not. No, and in Montana, it's also a little different. There's a point system, so it's like you put in, you get points, and they're all for different specialty tags for moose, bighorn sheep. A lot of times with like trophy areas, deer and elk trophy areas, it's that way. And then once you get it, you can go back into the point system, but you have to build up quite a bit of points before you get drawn usually. Yeah.
Okay. There's like way more than I thought that went into this. Are there different seasons for different like hunting methods, like rifle season, bow season? Are they like separate? Do they overlap? Are they kind of if you guys can get into that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I'll speak a little more towards Montana. So Montana's kind of unique. I think they have the best hunting season in the country. So you start the 1st of September, go to the second week in October of bow season.
Okay.
And that's for big game, for deer and elk. And then there's also bear seasons too. But then rifle starts the second to last weekend of October and runs through Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So you've got 6 weeks for each season. So
is that a lot?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a long. I mean, compared to most states, it's way different in Idaho. So it's a good hunting season. And if you hunt elk, you can hunt both seasons. You just can't shoot 2 elk.
Oh,
So if you don't get something during archery, you then can move into rifle.
Oh, interesting.
On the same tag.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure about how it works in Idaho. I know that they are separate I don't bow hunt, so I'm not exactly sure, but I do know that they're at separate points. I just don't know the exact times.
Yeah, it's similar times. It's just not as long of a season. And then rifle, it's kind of district related in Idaho. So like if you're in different districts for rifle, you get certain, like 2 weeks for this district or 2 weeks for that district. And it's kind of, and then you can get a general like over the tag or over the counter tag for deer, and that would run the length of the season. So yeah, just kind of depends on where you put in and where you're hunting.
Okay. Without giving away any like insider information or all of your perfect little spots, like where is like your general go-tos? Because we know that like hunting and like fishing spots are very like secretive, so we don't want anybody to get mad at you. But where are you guys kind of like go-to as far as like spots, I guess?
Well, I feel like Coeur d'Alene area, people are a little bit more secretive about everything they do. I'm from Bonners Ferry, and it's like everybody knows where everybody goes.
Okay.
It's more of a free-for-all type thing. My family, personally, we're big into bear hunting. So we have our general areas that we like to go. Spring bear is typically what we go for, my dad and I, just because they're out of hibernation, they're not fat. It's a little better. That's not the question, but
No, that's
my dad and I, we usually hit up Katka, which is kind of on the eastern side of Boundary County. And it's close to the Canadian border and actually close to Montana. It's a very huge area, so I'm not giving anything specifically away, but that's where we like to go. It's higher up in the mountains. Bear typically stay up there unless they come down and hit up the garbage cans or orchards or anything like that. But for the most part, they like to stay higher up. And then we also go to a spot called Romano's, which is in the Selkirks. And it's just not only is it a really great place to find those type of animals, but it's a beautiful hike and gorgeous
nice
views.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, growing up in Montana, first thing I learned with hunting coming over here, it's a completely different environment as far as hunting. So like where I grew up, you have more rolling hills and timber patches, where here you have a lot of real dense timber. So I know North Idaho, especially around Coeur d'Alene, can be kind of challenging to hunt. A lot of people go north or south. Where I hunt, if anybody watches the show Yellowstone, that is filmed.
Never heard of it.
That is filmed where I hunt. So
that's cool.
Pretty cool.
So they blew your spot.
They did. Yeah, pretty
dang
much.
it. Hollywood strikes again.
Which is actually it's only like an hour from Salmon, Idaho.
Oh, okay.
So south of Missoula, and you're almost into Salmon, Idaho.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny too. I mean, the different types of animals that maybe this is another question you're going to have, but at least in Kootenai County, it seems like there's more of an elk population, less bear. The further north you go, there's more bear, less elk.
Okay.
At least in my experience, it is. It seems like everybody in Kootenai County, they're all into elk hunting, and that wasn't really a big thing up
Interesting.
north. Yeah.
Okay. It was not our question, so thank you
Oh,
for that
you're welcome.
information.
Just filling that in.
I love it. Okay, Cody, this is more for you. So since you moved from Montana, can you kind of talk to us about the licensing process? Like, do you hunt in Idaho at all, or do you always go to Montana?
So typically, my family's all back in Montana. I have hunted here, but I prefer to stay in Montana.
Are you an Idaho resident though?
I am an Idaho resident, yes.
So what does that look like for you then going to Montana?
So since I took hunter safety back in Montana, I'm essentially able to move into Idaho and just get my permit. I just have to go through the process. I have to have a driver's license, be a resident, and then I can apply for permits just like anybody else. If you are unfamiliar with hunting and moving into the area and want to start, you're going to have to go through a hunter safety process. Okay, pass both either rifle and archery, which you have to take for each. And then you, at that point, would then go through the licensing process.
Perfect. Yeah. So then, I guess so now that you're an Idaho resident and you go into Montana, do you have to do anything else? Because you've already obviously taken the classes and had been licensed there before. Like, is it more expensive? Do you just have to pay an out of state fee essentially?
Yeah, so it is more expensive. Yeah. So typically speaking, that's the one thing I will say about Idaho and Montana. If you're residents here, extremely affordable to get licenses in the state. So if you want to get everything, let's say bear, moose, deer, elk, bear, and you want to get all that stuff, you're probably going to spend about $150 to get everything if you're a resident. Now, since I have to go back to Montana, It cost me about $800
Okay.
to get my license in Montana, and that's being a past resident. If you're not at all, if you haven't lived in that state, it's about over $1,000
Okay.
per season to get licensed.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense, I guess. So you guys kind of, I guess you almost touched on this, but what does Idaho specifically require to obtain a license? Just like the hunter safety, paying for your license essentially, is that kind of it?
That's all I've done.
Okay. We're pretty lax
When
here.
I mean, I can't remember. It was like 4th grade.
Okay.
I went through hunter safety, and since then, I've just needed to pay for my license.
So
and
you went
tags.
through hunter safety in 4th grade and you have
I
not
think-
had
I
to
think
do it
was
again?
Like 4th. No.
Like a one and done. Okay, interesting. And then you
Yep.
just pay every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Tag and license.
Yeah, and it's a different. So rifle is one, bow
Bow is
hunter safety
separate.
is
Okay.
separate. So you'd have to do 2, but usually most people do it once in their lifetime, and then
And that's it.
And then you're good to go. And then you just have to have a driver's license.
Okay.
Felonies affect
Right.
that too.
Right.
You can't have any felonies, otherwise you have firearm
Can't be
restrictions.
Okay.
Past poacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. There we
Yeah.
go. Okay. Is a concealed carry permit required to travel with your firearms? Like if you're driving up to Montana, do you have to have a permit?
You do not.
Okay. And then last but not least, you guys have any last like recommendations for hunters in Idaho? Just anything else maybe we didn't touch on?
Go
I
ahead.
mean, I think the biggest thing with coming to a place like this, that if you're unfamiliar with hunting and want to get into it, or even if you're familiar in your other state, like California, Oregon, Washington, wherever you're coming from, is just, consult with some locals.
Yeah.
Usually people are pretty friendly. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people think they won't tell them any information about their hunting, but I don't find that to be true.
That's not the experience
I
you've
don't-
had.
I
Call my
don't-
dad, and he'll tell you exactly where to go
Okay.
every time.
Yeah.
Cool.
To a fault.
They're like, here's a map.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? But no, I mean, I think just, educate yourself on the rules.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they're a little bit different everywhere. But, and then just knowing where you are, because there's a lot of forest land. You can get lost really easily.
Okay.
And just familiarizing yourself with the area. Go with somebody. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people go by themselves. I
Yeah.
never do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Cool.
pretty much it.
And I think on the, like what you're saying with educate yourself, the hunter safety part of it is a big deal because you learn the regulations, the rules, wearing orange, things like that, being out, and there's just a lot that goes to it. It's not just as simple as just
Like
grabbing your
checking it
rifle.
off.
Yeah, grabbing
Yeah.
your rifle, walking out the door, and thinking you're gonna
Right.
know what you're doing.
Okay.
A lot of it is common sense, but I mean, it's really good to
Yeah.
familiarize yourself with all of it, because a lot of times you just don't think about it. But
So, and like your guys' opinion, do you think the hunter safety course is like really valuable? They actually kind of make you go through like in depth, again, not just like checking off a box. It is really like a pretty detailed course.
Yeah, and you have to pass a test.
Okay.
A field test and a written
Okay,
test.
cool.
Yeah.
So it's not just like
Yeah.
anyone
Like
can walk
drivers.
off the street and be
Yeah.
like, I did it, but didn't really do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Well, that's good
no,
to
I mean,
know.
it was really good, and I still feel, you have some people come in and tell stories, and
Yeah.
they kind of tell you the freak out stories
Yeah.
about what could happen if you do the wrong thing. But
Right.
yeah,
Cool. Well, thanks for coming in and chatting about this, because we definitely would not have had all that
We
information.
never get to see you guys, so this is
I know.
awesome.
Yeah, this is kind of fun for us. So thanks for coming in. Ben, Cody, appreciate you guys. As always, follow along, turn on notifications. We're here every week with new content, all things real estate, all things North Idaho. And we will see you next time. Thank you guys. Bye.